Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Kevin Twait Show. I'm Brad Haugen, sitting side by side with the Stairmaster himself, Buena Vista head football coach Kevin Twait. Tonight we're going to look back at the game against Central yesterday afternoon in Pella. We're also going to look ahead to BV's final game of the season, a game against the Simpson Storm, which will be here in J. Leslie Rollins Field in 2 weeks. First things first, Coach, let's talk about the game at Central. You knew going in, they're a nationally ranked team, one of the toughest teams, probably the toughest team in the conference by far. What are your feelings after the game?
I thought our kids probably played harder, Brad, than we'd played all year. I mean that sincerely. I thought defensively we employed a 53 defensive look, and I think it really helped us against the running game at times. It hurt us a little bit against the passing game, but we knew going in the ball game we were going to have to somehow shut down the running game. They wanted to line it right at us, and to our credit, I thought defensively we did a pretty good job against the run. Offensively, we were missing 4 starters in our offensive line. I think that took a toll in the ball game. I thought our kids played awfully hard. We penetrated their 5-yard line twice, once in the first quarter, once in the second quarter. In fact, we had 3rd and goal and 1 and weren't able to get in. That really hurt us. But I was awfully proud of our kids' effort. I thought we probably played harder for 60 minutes in this game than we did any time the entire year.
You look back at the season so far, I mean, Central's just been rolling through teams all year, and we talk about 28-0 is not the kind of way you want to come out of a ball game, but there's a lot of teams around here that would gladly change places with you.
Yeah, they put some whippings on some people. There's no question about that. And we're not really into moral victories and that, because we went down there with the idea to try and win a football game. But they are a good team. They're rated number 2 in the West region in the nation, and right now they're aiming at a home, probably a home playoff game, you know, and that kind of thing. But our kids played hard and fought them tooth and nail, and I was real proud of our effort.
Let's take a look at the action down in Pella now, Coach. We're here in the first half, and pretty windy conditions down there this
It was
weekend.
really windy, and we won the toss, Brad, and we elected to take the wind and put our defense out there, and we kicked off with the wind, and you'll see our defense doing a real nice job. We put 8 men in the box. We ran basically, you can see there, a 53 type defensive look, and you see the third play of the game, they fumble, and Jason Giesel's Johnny on the spot and gets the ball for us, and we have a running play, and then Jeremy Blyle sprints out to his right and finds Kyle Pellet, and we've got the ball inside their 15-yard line, I think at about the 14 or so. Andy Hollingsworth did a nice job ramming in there in our power formation, in our Bulls formation, and this is a play that if we had to do it over again, I never would have called this same, but we went with it. We thought the play before the defensive end sucked in, and 52, that made a great play, came down line and reacted to the reverse, and everyone else is almost out of the picture. They pursued so hard. Central does pursue like gangbusters. We tried to catch it with a reverse and a cheap touchdown, but it was 3rd and 4, and we let go of reverse and just didn't pan out for us very well. Then we missed a field goal. Jason Giesel did our plays kicking, and he really got a strong leg and just hooked it a little bit to the left. But then you see Nick Grant coming up on a fine play, and early in the game, that 53 defense, I think, really bothered Central's running attack.
Really no yardage at all for them inside, and then we just saw they try to go outside, and they really did a great job of shutting that down too.
They had, I think, 8 penalties for 65 or 70 yards, and we had 3 for 30 yards. So I thought our kids did a pretty good job, you know, in that area. And there you see a nice play. I think it was Mark Seaver stripping the ball away there from Lamb, who's an outstanding receiver. Their receivers made some great catches on the day. They really did. We forced the quarterback to run on a 4th and about 8, and he only gets 3 or 4 yards, and that was a great play for us. There you see a draw play, and Chad Hissler. I thought Chad ran awfully well during the course of the day. He ran hard, he slashed, he cut it well. I just thought he did a nice job. Here's a big play. You know, the score is 0-0, it's 3rd and 2, and we run an unbalanced formation on a toss sweep into our boundary over our right side and aren't able to, you know, to get anything out of the thing and have to punt the ball away. I thought Pat Hogriff did an exceptional job punting.
Great job.
Both with the wind and into the wind. They did an outstanding job on their returns. We prepared all week long. They've blocked 6 punts in one game against Luther, and we really prepared hard to try and protect, and then we didn't probably cover as well as we would have hoped. They're a great pass from Hagan to Lamb, and Steve Dick had good coverage, just wasn't able to make the play there. This Cole Adrian's quite a football player. He's
a good backup to Mark Kakmarinsky,
yes,
their All-American, who's been sitting out for the season.
He's their starting fullback when Kak was their tailback. In this game, they moved him around. He played fullback a few plays and tailback some, and I look for him to play more tailback because he's by far their best running back right now.
Running back there, they get their first points on the board now, and they missed the extra point. So 6-0 right now with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. You guys got to be feeling pretty good about the way your defense has been playing.
Well, our defense has played pretty well, and offensively, We took it down to the 4 or 5 yard line, and then we tried the reverse and on 3rd and 4 it didn't work, and missed a field goal. So, I mean, we're about even with them right now, and I think Pat punted 9 times on the day, which is far too many times to punt the football, but he did an awfully good job. And Adam Basinius has done a nice job long snapping. He's a freshman from down the road here in Shaler. I thought he did a great job long snapping on the course of the day. They really do a nice job setting up the punt return man. They just lock onto you and kind of run beside you. They had a penalty there. I'm not so sure you couldn't call them for a clip or a hold nearly every time they do it, but they have good athletes that move their feet awfully well. We miss a couple tackles there, just don't wrap up on Adrian, and you've got to wrap up on him. He's an awfully good back. And then Nick Grant finally slung him to the ground. Here you see us once again in the 53 defense and trying to put a little heat on here. And I thought we really gave Hagan some good shots. I think our pressure got to him after a while. Here you see Chad Wood on just a basic dive play, kind of gets muddled up, and then he bursts out of there. And that kid you see there, Zimmerman, is he an athlete? He ran, I think, 47 flat and 400 meters, and it was on Central's 4x4 relay team. And he's a linebacker, weighs 225 pounds.
It's a big boy flying down the field, chasing after Chad Wood, who had quite a ball game.
Chad did a nice job, and you see Jeremy Blyle, who did a nice job for starter, faked in there, getting down to the 1 yard line, and the next play we have this play, 3rd and goal on the 1, and we just get stood up on that sideline, and you've got to be able to convert those things. Even at Christmas, you have 1 yard to go for a touchdown, you've got to find a way to get in, and now it's 4th and goal on the 5, and we get some pressure and you know, just get sacked, and that was really frustrating. So we were down, had 3rd and goal on the 1, Brad, and just didn't get in the end zone.
A lot of credit to Central defense right there. A lot of times they're not put in situations like that where their backs are against the wall. And you guys did a good job keeping the pressure on.
They really responded there. Boy, we lucked out here. We had a blown coverage. We blitzed, and Mark Seaver's corner put some great pressure on Hagan, and they had a tight end wide open. You just didn't get to him. Then you see Matt Sauer, fine defensive end, making a sack on Hagan, and our defense, I thought, really at times played awfully well on Saturday. Really did. Once again, you see him, that darn kid, I forget what his name is, from, what is that rascal's name, from Southern Cal and Lake City. I can't remember, he played Matt Newland. Their free safety and their fine punt return man. There you see Hagan sprinting out, and you've got to give those kids some cushion because they run awfully well. They're wide receivers. They're going to bust a counter play here, and Adrian's going to go in for a touchdown from about 20 yards out. That's one disadvantage of putting 8 guys on line of scrimmage. If they do break it, Brad, there's not a lot left.
Once they get through, they're on their way. Now they'll go for the 2-point conversion here.
This is an unbelievable catch by this Lamb kid out of Southeast Polk. I mean, we have Chad Nath has about as good a coverage as you can get, and then the ball's tipped up, and he lands on his back, and the ball lands in his paws. So
lands right his back, and here's the final touchdown of the first
right
half.
Before the half. Yeah, that was right before the half, and you know, if we're able to get any offense going at all, it's probably 14-14 at half, and instead it's 21-0 Central, and we played a pretty decent first half.
No doubt about it. Like I said, that's a situation a lot of teams would love to have been in, to keep that close as a team like Central. That's going to wrap it up for the first half as the Beavers head into the locker room to talk things over. We're going to do the same thing right here on the Kevin Twait Show. Stay tuned.
Which child deserves to be read to? This one? Or is it this one? Which child will learn to use a toothbrush? Who will have a chance to sing? The choice is yours. Volunteer for Head Start. With your help, more low-income preschool children can get what other children already have. Change the world of a child, and you change the world.
Welcome back to the Kevin Twait Show. Coach, in at halftime, down 21-0, perennial power Central. You guys had to have a lot of confidence in that halftime locker room.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brad, we really felt like the game could have very easily been 14-14 because We were down inside their 5-yard line twice. We're unable to score. Once I made a call, never should have made the reverse or something. As I look back on, we should have just ran a toss sweep and took our chances on that. Then we tried to power it in on 3rd and goal at the 1, and we get stood up and have a 5-yard loss and go for it on 4th down and aren't able to score. But defensively, we've stopped their running game for the most part of the day, and they've hurt us with some passes, which we knew going in the 53 defensive look, playing a lot of man coverage that they might. But the one they got before the half took a little wind out of our sails, and we were a little bit down. But we challenged the kids at half, saying, you know what, she's 21-0. You're a college football player. Go out and play hard and have some fun and get after them. You know, just get after them, and I thought the kids did a good job with it.
You bet. As we take a look at the second highlights here coming up, we look at the final score is 20-0. The second half score was only 7-0.
Yeah,
so you guys really played a good half of football.
They beat us 7-0. It wasn't like they were real liberal substituting. They struggled moving the ball in our defense.
Right.
And offensively, we put together a real nice drive to start the second half once we did get the ball. There you see some good gang tackling on Cole Adrian, and that's how you've got to tackle him. He really is a good running back. Sprint out pass here, Hagen, and the ball just falls out of the hands of the receiver, Lamb. Here's a nice isolation play over the right side to Chad Histler, and we really came out of the block strong here the 3rd quarter. Histler over the left side, and he's getting better as the season goes on, Brad. He's running harder, he's cutting better.
He really cut well in Pell,
yeah,
I noticed.
Nice cut there, and well, he's going to be an outstanding running back, and he's got another year left. We're anxious for that, obviously. Here, a sprint out pass, and we kind of missed a chop block on the defensive end, and the linebacker pursues awfully well as well, and does a good job sacking us. This is a controversial play. We get a nice first down and pass to Pellet, and many thought that Kyle was down on the sideline there, and they ruled that he had fumbled the ball, and now our offensive kids have to play defense and try to make a tackle on that defensive back.
Right, so that turns things around. Kind of a little momentum killer right there. You guys were
moving the ball awfully well at that time. Here they have an incomplete pass. We had called for roughing the quarterback there. And defense, to their credit, does a great job hold Central to a field goal attempt. They miss it wide left, and it's still 21-0. Here you see a pass complete, and Don Walls got hurt on the very first play in the first quarter on that reverse, and he really couldn't run very well. I mean, he really couldn't. You see Brian Hart over the left side for some good yardage, but it really limited Don's ability to run and ability then to get open. And Craig Williams, our other fine receiver, got hurt in the first quarter as well. Played, but we're kind of gimping around and not near full strength. What a punt by Hogarth. I don't know how far that was.
61 yards on the kick
61 yards. Gee, Christmas.
We gotta be honest. That was with the wind, but there's no doubt about it. He's a very powerful punter.
That was with the wind, boy. It gave us some good field position. Here you see Central bobble the snap. They bobbled the snap 2 or 3 times from center. We got on that one. I'm sure Drew Schwint had a lot to do with that because he seems to always be messing things up for some people, you know.
Unfortunately, as we're going to see here, this is the very next
play, and we call a pass, and we don't get open, and Jeremy, to his credit, steps up in the pocket like you're supposed to, but we just get some blindside pressure there. Our left side just loses a little bit of ground on the pass blocking, and they run their counter play for some good yards there. Our defense has been on the field for too long now. We've had too many 3-and-outs on offense, and this is a touchdown to their fullback on the little bootleg play, and we don't tackle exceptionally well, but he would have been inside the 4 or 5 yard line anyway, I think.
Right, no doubt. And the final extra point right there makes the score 28-0, and that's just about where it ends. Coach, we've talked about it already, but your final thoughts in the game and how you think you guys are going to come off of this now when you got one more game left for the season.
Well, I remember last year playing Central College. We had a bunch of seniors, and we were got beat 58-7 at our place. Now I remember that like it was yesterday, and the feeling in the locker room after it and what a downer that was. We got beat yesterday 28-0 by a good football team. And we were twice inside their 5 yard line, and I'm not saying that we could have beaten Central yesterday, but boy, we get a couple breaks and we punch those things in, you never know what would happen. So the feeling is this, we're disappointed that we got beaten, didn't execute well at times, gave up too many big plays on defense, and offensively didn't score at crunch time. But the attitude is we played them better than anybody else in our league has, and we've got 2 weeks to get ready for our final tilt with Simpson at home. And we're going to be ready to play football, I guarantee you that.
You bet, no doubt about it. We're going to take a look at the game against Simpson coming up right after this break, so stay tuned here on the Kevin Twait Show.
Math, a 4-letter word, right? Hey, you don't don't need that.
Why design the world's newest jets?
When you could be flipping the world's oldest burgers. Hey, wait a minute. This is math. Geometry, algebra.
No pocket protectors here.
But you're cruising without math. Yeah, right. Take a good look.
That's math staring back at you.
It's not a problem, man. It's an answer. Call NACME. We'll tell you what you need to do.
There's an awesome power that can eliminate over half of our nation's defense forces. It's everywhere, and it can strike at any time. Who has this incredible power? You do. If you employ National Guard and Reserve members, you need to use your power wisely, because today, the Guard and Reserve make up over half of our country's defense. So when they need time off to serve, be a hero. Give them the freedom to protect ours.
To have a dream, but never the chance to achieve it. That is perhaps the greatest tragedy in life. The United Negro College Fund exists to bring the dreams of thousands of young people within reach. Hands that yearn to touch lives. We train to heal, to teach, to bless. We encourage souls that hear music to write symphonies and sing anthems. And to those once bound by poverty, we present a wealth of possibilities. When you support the United Negro College Fund, you give more than money. You give dreams that may have died the power to live.
Support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Welcome back to the Kevin Twait Show. Coach, we look ahead now, and there's no game to focus on for next week. You got Simpson 2 weeks down the road. Before we talk about any of that, let's go to the conference scores and see how some of the other teams in the IAC did. We look at the first one. They're a mild upset.
Boy, I think that's a shocking upset to me because Dubuque, to me, is not in the same class with Luther, but anything can happen in football, and they beat them 13-12. It surprised me that Wartburg beat Upper Iowa quite so bad. Wartburg got after them pretty hard, 42-8, and Wartburg's got a fine team, I tell you.
Great team. What do you think of looking down the road now? They'll finish probably second in the conference behind Central. They have a shot at the playoffs?
Nope, don't think so this year.
Probably not.
I think with one loss, the Wisconsin schools are doing such a nice job. I think they'll take a couple Wisconsin schools, probably St. John's out of Minnesota and Central.
Kind of unfortunate when you think of, I mean, you can't deny the IAC is a very tough conference. Here's the final score, and this is the team we're looking forward to, Coach Simpson, and I guess they can put some points on the board.
67-0. They'll be full of confidence, won't they? And they play Dubuque next week, so they might get a double dose of confidence.
Maybe Dubuque can pull off that upset like they did this week. But Coach, we talked about you got a week off now this week. Every team gets a bye in there. You can only play 9 games during the season. How are you going to deal with it, both as a staff and as a team, this week off here now?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It was interesting today. I took my kids swimming tonight. That was unbelievable. I hadn't had the opportunity to spend much time with your family, and today we graded our film in the morning and kind of had the afternoon we watched a pro football game and took the kids swimming and did some stuff that I guess most humans get a chance to do.
You didn't watch the Packers?
No, we don't do that stuff at our house.
I was a little disappointed about
the Vikings or nothing.
Well, we won't talk about that.
We. As a football staff, what we do is this, and with our squad, we normally bring the kids in on Sunday and watch the film. We're not going to do that till tomorrow. On Monday, we're going to go over the film with Central, make the corrections, look at the positives, and build on that. We'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but they'll be scaled down somewhat. We'll probably end about 5:15. Normally, we end about 5:45. We'll give the kids Friday and Saturday off. We'll practice Sunday, a normal practice, about 2-hour practice, give them Monday off, and then we're into game week, and we'll probably shorten the practice up about 10 minutes each day, because instead of having the normal 4 preps for a game, we've got 8. And so we ought to be ready to play. And our kids will be excited to be back at home. It'll be our final home game of the year, our last game of the year. Many of our seniors, we don't have that many, but it will be their last chance ever to play college football again and to put the pads on. And I know we'll be ready to play. And if we have the same kind of spirit and attitude and the same kind of aggressiveness that we displayed against Central, we'll have a great chance to beat Simpson. And Simpson's a fine team. Now, Central got after Simpson 37-7 a week ago, but Simpson's hung some numbers on some people, and they're a fine football
No
team.
doubt. One thing about the off week that you've got to be looking forward to is a chance to get some players healthy. You guys have had some pretty hard knocks here so far this year with a lot. We talked about the big names that have gone down, like Stoddard went down last week and Mark Hoekstra a few weeks ago, but we talked about your offensive line. There's really one banged up crew.
It really is, and we're really hoping that we can get Mike Richardson back. Mike partially tore his other ACL against Wartburg, somehow found a way to play against Upper Iowa, and absolutely could not get out of bed last week, could not get into a stance. We had to hold him out of the game. Hopefully this week off, he'll be able to play for us at center. I thought Brian Miller did a real nice job, but boy, it wasn't the same as having a veteran in there.
Got to have the experience, no doubt.
Also, Jared Schoen. Jared Schoen had suffered a minor concussion in practice on Tuesday. He was withheld from competition on Saturday. We are really in hopes they'll clear him for that final game with Simpson. He's a veteran. He's started a bunch of games for us. He's only a sophomore, but he's more experienced than some of the other kids that we've got. We need him in there.
Right.
I thought Matt Kincaid did extremely well. Freshman out of Glenwood, our right guard. I thought he had a great ball game for a freshman. And I thought Chris Rochtel played his best ball game of the year.
There's a guy that's really taken a big leadership role for you guys this year.
He's had to. You look around anymore, there's not many seniors running around out there. Stodder's not there, Hoekstra's not there. He's kind of taking control of that offensive line. And I thought Nick Grant was outstanding on defense. I thought Matt Nagg had a stellar performance. He's not the greatest athlete in the world, but as good a technician as you're going to find. Right. And we had a lot of kids that played their hearts out, but those kids, kind of stick out in my mind as kids that really had outstanding games on Saturday. But we'll be rested, we'll be healed up. We'll, 2 weeks you can get ready and you can get ready to play a football game in 2 weeks, and our kids will be charged up.
You can do a lot, you bet. Specifically now on Simpson, like we saw the score from this weekend's game, 6-7-0. Obviously the offense can put some points on the board. What are the things you guys are going to be focusing on to get ready for that final game of the season? Well,
this year they've done an outstanding job mixing the run and the pass. In previous years, they just want to ram it down your throat and run the football. And they've got a kid named Jorgensen, a young man out of Audubon, I believe, that's a sophomore that's really throwing the football well. He's thrown for over 200 yards, I think, in 3 or 4 different ball games, and so he's a great threat. And they've got a couple awfully good receivers, so they're going to have a little better a mix of run and pass, which is a little concerning to us because we'd almost rather play someone that would exclusively throw the football or exclusively like to run the football. But it's going to keep us off balance a little bit more on defense. Offensively, Brad, they're going to run out of a 40 front. It looks like a 44 sometimes. It's really a 42 defense, but it's going to look like a 44 if you're sitting up there in the stands watching. Our biggest concern is we got to get off the football and block some people and not turn it over and piece together an offensive line as best we can with what bodies the trainers are going to give us.
No doubt about it.
That's all we can do, work on execution, timing, work on the fundamentals of just getting off the football, sustain our blocks a little bit longer. And, we've got 2 weeks to adjust our blocking schemes to fit their defenses and to perfect them, prepare, and get after them. And I remember last year we played awfully well against Simpson, got beat at their place 15-12 in a hard-fought loss. But I think you'll find the blue and gold ready to play in that final home game.
You bet, lad. It's hard to believe the season's already over now. We got one more game to go. Like we said, the Beavers have the week off next week, so that means the Kevin Twait Show is going to take the week off also. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. That'll be right after BV's home game against Simpson College. 2 weeks down the road, November 11th, I believe it is.
November 11th.
Don't have my calendar straightened out. 1:30 kickoff, so make sure you get yourselves down to J. Leslie Rollins Stadium.
It'll be 1 o'clock kickoff, Brad, with the time change. It'll change from 1:30 to 1 o'clock.
Something I did not know. It's a learning. Every time I come out here, I learn something new, and that's why that's why we do this. So 1 o'clock is the kickoff. So get yourselves down there about 12:30. Get yourselves ready to see a fine ball game. Final game of the season for Buena Vista, and right after that, tune in the week after that for the final episode of the Kevin Twait Show. Thanks for stopping by.